G'day everyone, Merry Christmas again. It's Sean from STK Markets. We're just rolling out this year, as you know. We've got CEO Tom Davidson of ACDC Metals with us this morning of what's been hopefully what will be a transforming 2026. Tom, thanks for joining us this morning, mate. It's nice to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Good to be on the line again and giving everyone an update of what we've been up to.
Mate, I know you've been busy with the company doing several things at the moment. We'll touch on the rare earth space. You've certainly done everything you've said you'd do since the IPO. You've really conserved your cash. You've spent money wisely. You've got a good management team there, and you've executed the project. And it just that the commodity space really hasn't excited, which is why we've sort of seen the share price languish, not because of your performance. You've actually exceeded all targets, which is why we're still talking to you, because you have managed to deliver and what you said you're going to do. What we have noticed over the last, I'd say, 6 to 8 months is that a lot of companies in your space that are operating in Victoria, which is now open for business, have added new projects or new commodities to their business. And ACDC, I know, has been looking. I'd just like to get a bit of an update as to where you see 26 going. We've done a lot of conversations, Tom. We're very confident that your team's looking for projects, and you've knocked back quite a few because they weren't the right fit for ACDC. You're certainly not resting on your laurels. But can you just give us an idea of where we're going, what we're doing, and is there a good opportunity for shareholders? Because virtually you're at shell value with an asset that's quite valuable, and where you can take this with the good investors that you've got on the register.
Yeah, thanks, Sean. Yeah, definitely. And I guess we've been highlighting it in our last few quarterlies, and every time we do an announcement on the Goshen project or on our other assets, that there's always that line there that business development is still considering opportunities. And so, yeah, we're definitely looking to diversify the commodity portfolio. As you mentioned, rare earths is definitely, you have the roller coaster there of the ups and the lows, and we've just enjoyed the last sort of few months of Trump and Albanese news and that sort of flowing through. But yeah, we're looking to sort of shore up that sort of and bring in a project that will fit our strategic fit and our sort of skill set of people, where we're looking to take a project that's had a few holes put into it, and then we're able to develop that, build that through into a resource, and really sort of show their potential. We've been looking at lots of gold, silver, copper projects. We're going through applications for recent ones in central Victoria. But we've also been looking far afield as well. A lot of our board and management team, we've all worked in Northern Hemisphere, Europe, and around the world. So we're casting the net wide, and there's lots of opportunities coming through, particularly TSX projects that are sort of sitting there being left stranded and a bit forgotten about, and wanting to come down and get that love on the ASX. And so we're really looking at opportunities where we can bring them in.
The reality is to find a good project takes a long time, and I know we're not one for promoting deals every second day of the week. Good projects are very hard to find. So we are pleased the board's taking its time, but I've heard whispers that you're getting to the closing end of, you've got a short list of projects that you are looking at. And my ears picked up there, you did say Central Victoria, where I think myself included have made a lot of money with gold down with Southern Cross. Are there any areas near there that you've been looking at, for example? Or?
Yeah, so we've been looking at sort of lots of projects within that sort of central, belt region. Particularly, there's been lots of good news stories with Southern Cross and Falcon Metals and those types. And so there's been lots of projects sort of coming up that we've looked at. We've gone into data rooms. We've been able to peg a bit of open ground as well. So that's sort of going through application processes, and also at the same time then looking at larger transactions and what we can sort of bring into the door.
I think one of the key things I've noticed personally, we've got some investments from the past. There was a company called Pan Asia Metals, which was a lithium play, and then it went to copper, then it went to Argentina. It bounced around a bit to finally put a gold asset in it, and that's just gone remarkably well. That was in the 3-4 cent marks, similar market cap to where you are now touching on 20 cents. It's had 8 times return since that event. So it can be a very profitable way to increase the market cap or investors' investment by putting the right commodity in. So it's pleasing to see that you are being selective, because it's very hard to find, as I said, these assets. And hopefully in the new year you'll be ready to go.
Yeah, exactly. Hopefully, hopefully in Q1 we're able to get some good news out there with some potential projects and broaden the portfolio and the exposure for investors.
With ACDC, with the rare earths, I mean, that is still a decent project sitting there. The numbers from the scoping study looked good, looked bankable. What's the next steps there? I mean, but you're conserving money at the moment. You've got about, I think, 1.8 million in the bank, so you're not desperate for cash at this particular point in time. Could that project have merit on its own? Because it certainly isn't valued at anything at the moment.
Yeah, so I guess 2025 was a big year for the Goshen Central project. We got our bulk sample out, so all that test work and product quality data was all out in Q1 of 2025. So that really then gave us all the key inputs for the scoping study. So we have a really strong confidence in the metallurgical and the processing assumptions and inputs there. We also then at the same time did a marketing campaign where we took the product quality data, gave it to the marketing specialists. They then ran their eyes over that. They then spoke to the market to ensure that the product we could produce from the project is saleable and is a desirable product. And we got that tick, and that gave pricing also that we used in the scoping study. So we've got the confidence there of not only the inputs to how to extract the key rare earths and the zircon and titanium, but also the confidence in the pricing so that the economics at a scoping level are believable and show you that confidence. We also then went and going through the RL application for the project. So that'll give us another 10 more years to develop the project. So that gives us a long runway. We don't need to, we can obviously push the button a lot faster than that. But what we've really sort of been waiting for or hoping that was going to be a bit of a trigger event was with VHM, Astron, those around us getting their approvals from Victorian government, which we've seen them come through. And that's sort of shown a lot more confidence that Victoria is open for mining. And you hear Mike at Southern Cross, they just got their portal approved the other day as well. So Victoria is definitely turning around that sentiment of being open for mining. So it's been very pleasing to see, and also that we had Trump and Albanese and all that sort of geopolitical talk over the last 3-4 months. It's really highlighted these projects. Obviously, there's still the volatility of investors willing to dip their toes into these rare earth markets, given the pricing and that. But it really has shown that the economics do stack up on these projects, and that's where we were fielding lots of phone calls from potential investors. They look at Astron at 500 million at one stage there, and we're sitting at under 10. What's the difference? And it's really just the level of development. It's not the differences in the ground or what you're able to produce. It's just that they're at FID and we're at that scoping level. So the next stage for the project is we've been having lots of conversation with strategic partners. They want the desirable rare earth monazite concentrates, and so looking to get some support to push the project further into the next step, and to come on and strategically push the project through.
Have you looked at any funding?
I guess the top. So we've been talking to have been sort of the Japanese titanium suppliers. So there's the Mitsui's and different sort of companies, and then there's also then the rare earth likes. So you've got the Energy Fuels and the others that are definitely looking around on lots of these projects. So there's lots of discussions being had. It's just hopefully we're able to land one of them.
What about the Trump Albo deal, which everyone's saying from the rooftops, which your share price rallied up to, I think, 16 cents off the back of? Have you had any discussions with government, getting any government grants or government funding coming through the door?
Yes. At the recent conference, IMARC in Sydney, I was able to meet with the major project team there. So that's a government arm that if you go through and you've done certain levels of development on your project, they're able to grant you a status of major project status. That sort of then helps you to identify the pathway to production. They're able to expedite the process, and then also able to help facilitate if there's any sort of government funding or different ways that they're able to accelerate the project and ensure that it remains on a pathway. Also, at that time, we were able to talk to, there was lots of noise about the EXIM funding, so the US supply funding that they're sending out lots of letters of intent during that period. So we're available to get those letters as well. So we're just going to go through and do all that paperwork. Now that we've got all the scoping study out, we're able to go through that process and go on and get those letters as well.
Can ACDC get the significant project, major project status? Is that an option for the company at this particular point in time? You said yes. So the work that we've done is sufficient to get through. We've just got to go through and do the application process. We've already started going through that. It takes a few months for it to go through all the checks and balances. But we're definitely of a position right now that we think we've got sufficient work done to be able to get that. That's fantastic. So to recap, just to summarise, because we've got to keep moving. I know you're busy today, Tom. You've got various projects you're looking at to bring in to the business to expand the portfolio to have, I guess, a hedge to the rare earth, particularly a gold project. You're looking at funding from the government for EXIM, getting those letters that have pushed all the other companies through the roof. You're down that path, and that the company is on the road, hopefully, to a more prosperous 2026.
Yeah, hopefully. And I guess I also forgot to mention we're going through the process now with ANSTO. So they're the Australian national arm in Sydney to do a lot of the rare earth extraction process. So we're taking the bulk sample, the rare earth mineral concentrate that was produced, giving that with ANSTO and doing a test work program to produce the rare earth oxide. So that's the first step of downstream processing. And that's really to demonstrate that the stuff that we have is a saleable product that we could give to a Lucas downstream plant in WA, to an Energy Fuels in the US, and produce the rare earth oxides, and show those strong recoveries that it could be obtained, and that we have the good mix of those heavies and lights. So there's lots of good news flow coming as well from the Goshen project.
Fantastic, Tom. Well, thank you. There's obviously early next year. We'll touch base. It looks like there's a lot happening. And good luck with next year, Tom. We'll certainly be watching and supporting the stock. So thank you.
All right, thank you very much, and hope everyone has a good Christmas.